And people make decisions based on what they want. Like some people want convenience. They want less friction. That's why people will pay $60 for a $25 bowl from Chipotle to have that bitch delivered at their doorstep through Uber Eats.
When I first started as an adjuster, I used to, if it was a 712 and under, I went gym shoes. Like, I ain't putting on no Cougar Paws. Now I'm close to 50. Brother, I'm on a 412 pitch with my Cougar Paws on. In a pitch hopper if it's a 7.
Welcome back to another episode of Mission Control Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Stearns, with Ascend Digital Agency. We got Otis with us yet again. Thanks for coming, brother.
No problem. Thank you.
He's repping Paramount Roofing Consulting out of Georgia. And shout out to the team at Roofer for holding us down, helping make this show possible. There's be a link down in the description. You can click that if you want instant roof quotes, roof measurements, clean and pristine proposals, CRM. They got you. Hit them up. Tell them I sent you. You'll be happy you did. We got a different episode today. We're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go over some stats I found in my journeys. I was on roofersguild.com. 32 insane roofing statistics you will hear about in 2024. So that'll be the format. We'll talk. We'll name the stat. We'll talk about it. Okay. You'll give me some perspective on what you think about it. I'll do the same. Audience, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure that you drop your perspective in the comments. We want to engage with you. So. Stat number one, there are 96,474 roofing companies in the U.S. I think this is up from the previous year, 2023. Yeah. That's a lot of roofers.
It's a lot of roofers, man. I think in Georgia, we might get about 10 new roofers a day.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
They seem to pop up a lot, and specifically in some markets. Like I've got some clients in Pittsburgh. They're like, dude, there's roofers popping up every fucking day here. So it makes sense when people are like, oh, there's just a ton of roofers here. It's really saturated. I need to get leads.
Yeah.
And I look at it like there are a lot of roofers. There are also a lot of roofs.
Yes.
And most importantly, there's a statistic that I'm not seeing here, but you hear about like the percentage of roofers that go out of business in the first few years, right?
Yeah.
So there's that natural, I guess, balance and churn. Like some go out, some come in. And I think that's where doing the right thing, doing the small things, the tedious bullshit that nobody wants to do will help differentiate the companies that can withstand that test of time, provide that service for an ongoing basis, and really service that community at the highest level. Makes a difference.
Yeah. I say this, right? It's a lot of new roofers that come into the industry. We might have 20,000 roofers in Georgia or 10,000 roofers in Georgia, whatever the case may be. But those not all my competition, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at that top 1% guys. That's really on the level that I'm trying to get to or that I'm at already. That's my competition. So I'm not competing with the 10,000 roofers because a lot of them is what we call chuck in the truck. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of chuck in the truck.
Fucking hacks.
Yeah. Because, by me being an adjuster, I seen some shiesty work.
Yeah.
Like I get on the roof like, who did this?
Right.
Some guy who had a truck and knocked on my door.
He was very affordable.
He was very affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had all the materials in the back of his truck. Yeah.
Dude, that's a really good point as far as like who you set your sights on and determine to be your competition.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: when you say the top 1%, how do you gauge that? Is it by revenue, by exposure, by reputation? Like, what is the 1% in your mind?
So it's a little bit of everything, right? I look at the guys who got the wrap vans. I look at the guys who come in with the uniforms. The guys who's on social media or the guys who's on the local news, things of that nature. My insight is a little bit different than others because I used to meet all the roofers.
Right.
As an adjuster. I used to see who was the good ones, who was the chuck in the trucks. And by me meeting all the guys and see how they perform and see when I pulled up, they was waiting for me, or the guys who was flying up while I'm already on the roof, they was running 30 minutes behind. Those are not my competition, the guys who's late. The guys who, we had the big players in our area, I ain't gonna put no names out there, but those are the guys that I strive to go with. Like when a homeowner and I walk in, and if I see that dog on that folder, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got some competition, but if I see somebody that I never heard before, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever collaborate with any of your competitors? Share information, have conversation about what's going on in the market?
Yeah, I actually, man, a couple roofers in our area actually reached out to me and told me they had problems getting, a claim approved and see can I help them, and I helped them out. I really help. I really rock with one guy that I really, he'll shoot me probably about 2 or 3 a month. I help him get turned over, and I actually just had another gentleman, my man Walt. He just hit me up and just was like, "Look, man, what you just did for me last week," because he was working with a homeowner for about 3 months to get a roof approved through the insurance company.
Yeah.
So his background, he's a GC. He really don't deal with the insurance company that much, but he was doing this for a favor for a friend.
Sure.
And he's like, "Man, I've been trying 3 months, and I got it, done 1 week." And he was just like, "Bro, we got to collab. We got to collab."
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about this off camera. I think it was at dinner yesterday. Like how that goodwill compounds quicker than anything else you do. More so than advertising, spending money, like goodwill and putting goodwill out there and just doing the right thing and being decent.
Yeah.
As far as what it does for your reputation and your ability to land opportunities and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
It makes sense to do.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And, I'll make sure I get paid for my services.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
But if that can be the byproduct of doing the right thing, it feels really good.
It feels good. Really, it feels good more than anything when I see the frustration on the homeowner's face that they feel defeated by the insurance company, that they didn't pay, their premiums for 20 years, never filed a claim, and then the insurance come in and say, "Look, loss below deductible, we're only going to replace 40 shingles."
Yeah.
Right? And then when I come along and I say, "Look, just be patient, I can do this," I tell them the steps I take, and then when I get it done, I had one lady cry on the phone. She literally cried on the phone because her insurance company denied her. She found me on TikTok. Her ceiling collapsed in on her two twins' bedroom, and she just didn't know where to go, right? And I had the insurance company come out from loss below deductible to $23,000 or something like that. Got a roof done, rewrapped the house, interior done for the ceiling, and And she literally couldn't believe she started crying on the phone with me. And that felt better than anything. That felt better than the money that I would have made on that project. That felt better than everything because she was in a bind where she didn't know where to go. And she found me on TikTok and I helped her out.
We're going to get to that in a minute. First, we're going to talk about, in our last conversation, we were talking about the au gratin potatoes and the ribeye steak at Buffalo Chop House. It's your first time in Buffalo. I'm like, I got to bring you. I hope you like steak because we're going to eat steak tonight. Yeah. So why don't you? We're gonna tag Chop House in this. Why don't you talk about your experience as it relates to the food that they brought to the table? How'd you feel about it?
Everything was great, eh? Hey, baby, hey, we were so full.
I mean, we had grandiose plans. We were gonna go out and hang out, do all these things.
Yeah. Hey, we had everything set up to go out and hang. I looked at everybody's face. I said, "Look, guys, let's just pivot and we could lay it down tonight and just do something tomorrow because that steak was a 32-ounce ribeye, cooked to perfection. They had the big gelato shrimp and what's those potatoes?
Those are gratin potatoes.
Oh, bro,
things hit different.
Yeah, they hit different.
I'm not even a big potato guy, like I said, but I'll tell you what.
And them stuffed peppers. That was like a deep dish pizza, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, so when we got back to the hotel, I was dropping Otis off. I'm like, man, I want to thank you for calling that audible at the table because I took my ass home and went right to bed. I was comatose.
I was comatose, bro.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would implore, and Christian, you can put it on screen, the handle for Otis's Instagram, TikTok. Otis does a really good job as far as developing content, which helps him significantly as far as not only getting new leads, but building trust and credibility so that when somebody is in their time of need down the road, I'm sure this happens to you all the time. Yeah. They hit you up and it's not something where they just found your page. Yeah. Has there ever been an experience where it's like, I've been watching your content for months. I've been watching your content for X amount of time.
Yeah. So I actually had a customer. She'd been watching me. Didn't know she'd been watching me, she said, for a full year, right? She said she didn't have people knock on her doors, hand out flyers. She said, I already knew who I wanted to go with because I've been watching your content for a whole year. She said, you always kept it professional. You always kept it about your roofing company. And So I said, all right, cool. I'm going to send, one of my guys out to do an inspection. She said, no, you got to come out. She said, I've been watching you. I want you to come out. I said, okay. Came out, met her, nice lady, and it was literally no competition.
Yeah.
She knew who she wanted to go with, gave her the price. It was very seamless, and we put up the roof, and she was very happy. She gave me a 5-star review. But
that's what brand can do for you.
A brand can do that for you, right?
It's so overlooked, and I think it's because there's not a straight line and a set time frame that makes people feel good about investing into it, where it's like, if you do things to build your brand for X amount of days and spend X amount of hours, you're going to get X out of it.
Yeah.
Everything's easier when it's a math equation. We feel good about it because there's comfortability and predictability.
Yeah.
When we can't do that, people tend to deprioritize it and not do it is ultimately what happens.
Yeah.
And then, they don't have those types of conversations, and you're perpetually finding different avenues to pay for more opportunities, where it's like, man, if you put out content consistently that helps people will hit you up.
And it's organic. It's literally cost me nothing.
Yeah.
It literally costs all the customers I get from the Instagram or the TikTok really cost me nothing until I put a little money behind my ad spends, right?
Yeah.
But the amount of money I put behind my ad spend to how many leads I get is well worth it.
Yeah.
It's literally, when I put money behind my ad spends, I get 1 to 5 leads a day.
And the problem that I see a lot of the times is somebody who's not doing consistent content doesn't have that. They're not coming from a place of authority with their target market, right? So even if you have 600 people that follow you and are watching your content consistently, there's that familiarity, and you're coming from a place of authority because now they trust you.
Yeah.
If you don't have that type of content and you're not established, you're going to run ads, and people are still going to be apprehensive. They're going to be like, it's another guy trying to reach in my pocket. Right?
Yeah,
like they're going to be very skeptical.
100%.
And like having that brand, that trust goes such a long way in so many different facets of your business. I would implore you as roofers to be cognizant of this and really lean into building your brand. And that can be done in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Shooting content, video content that helps solve problems that your homeowners or prospective homeowners are dealing with is a really good way to do it.
Yeah. And I tell people, when I first started, I never got in front of the camera. I'm really introvert, really.
Yeah.
But one of my buddies, Jason Caswell, he owned a dentist office, him and his wife, and he said, buddy, if you want to be a true entrepreneur, you need to put both feet in. You got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because I was still an insurance adjuster. And he was like, look, if you really want this to soar, you got to put both feet in, and you got to get in front of that camera. So I did my first video, mind you this. A lot of people hesitate to get in front of the camera because they feel like they sound stupid on the camera, or they just uncomfortable. I'm a kid who had a speech impediment, right? I was in speech class all the way up to almost middle school. I stuttered, all of that. If I could get in front of the camera and listen to my voice, and sometimes I catch myself stuttering, but I don't edit, I keep it raw, but the message that I'm giving my customers is something that can help them. So when you get in front of the cameras, you got to speak to the customer, your future customer. You can't just get up there and talk about any old thing. You got to speak to the future customer, what you think the issue they're going through. You've been denied by your insurance company, or you're thinking about filing a claim. Hey, give Paramount Roofing a call. This is what I did for such and such customer. And they will hit you. They start calling. Yeah.
Love that shit.
Yeah, brother. So don't be scared to get in front of the camera.
No, don't be scared. If he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. So just do it. Be better.
Be better.
Be better.
And nobody just want to see a before and after photo. That's not going to get you no impressions, no interactions. Yeah. That's all I did in the beginning, before and after. Look at
it's
look how nice that roof is.
Yeah.
Nobody hit me on that.
All right, stat number 2. $39,555 is the average roofing salary. This is interesting because I wonder where the stats from, and like is this just in-house employees, like admins? Does this exclude salespeople, 1099s, subcontractors?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put too much weight into this because I don't have context.
Yeah.
But when I see that, I feel like that's low.
It is low, but I believe it's because you said 96,474 roofing companies in the U.S. I think majority of those are guys who just do repairs, truck in the truck type of guys who come in real low ball. That's not the percentage of the guys that, like I said, that I look at as competition.
Okay.
So I think that kind of stirred that number a little bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Because I wouldn't be in the business. That's all I was making.
Stat number 3. The average roof repair costs $1,128. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts when you see that?
To me, that the average on my end, I believe that's kind of high, right? But I don't know what type of repairs they're doing. Like most people call me because they got a leak and it's a pipe boot. I'm not charging.
And is this residential, commercial?
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
How important is it to do repairs as a roofer?
I think it's very important because Ron's right there. You just built you another customer. Right. If you be honest with the customer and say, look, you don't need a new roof at this time. Only thing it is, you have some pipe boots and you give them a quote for repair, look for the long run. They might call you in 2 or 3 years, or that hailstorm might come through in 6 months. I didn't have that happen. Hey, you came out and did a repair for me, but now we just had the big storm come through. Can you come check out my roof again? Now they need a new roof, right? And you built trust. You built trust. And you can make good margins on repairs, right? It might cost you $50, $60 for the materials, and you quote somebody $500, $600, $700.
Right.
Those margins is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
People get fascinated with the high ticket, but if you're doing something that does 3x the margin, and you're doing it 5 times more frequently than the replacements, what's that up?
You eating, bro?
Yeah. And it's the consensus that I've got after being in the industry for over a decade is between 10 and 20% of those people that are calling for a repair end up being a replacement anyways. People are conditioned, like consumer behavior, they're not oftentimes going and looking for the most expensive solution to their problem, right? That roof could be 37 years old.
Yeah.
Old organic shingles, half of them missing, roof repair near me.
Yeah. I want to repair, but you got to tell them this need to be replaced.
It's wishful thinking, but unfortunately, the state of your roof, it's beyond repair.
Yeah.
This thing, it's got to go.
Yeah. Take some good pictures and videos. I learned this usually when homeowners want to do a repair, you go up there and take photos of what's going on, or even a video. It triggers their mind to really start listening to you to look at a replacement at that point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Show them the problem.
Show them the problem. Just don't tell them. Yeah. Show me.
Well, that's another thing when we talked about differentiating. How many people are just getting quotes emailed to them, never have anybody on site? So not only are they not showing them once they're up on the roof what's going on, they're not getting on the roof to begin with. They're not even going to the house.
Yeah.
And I think there's a time and a place for that. So, for instance, I had a client, their salespeople were overrun with leads. They had too many leads, a problem that a lot of roofers would like to have.
Yeah.
So they're like, maybe we pull back on how we're spending our money. I was like, that's one option. Or we can identify where we're getting opportunities, getting the lowest conversion rates. And so that we don't treat those people as black sheep, we can still get the opportunities by way of not sending a sales rep out there. And it's twofold, right? We can help train the sales reps because maybe they're doing something differently in these markets that aren't resonating with the customers. And we can spend less time and resources. And now anybody that we email a quote to, if they set up an appointment, we're in. It's our appointment to lose because now they've got the number, the sticker shock's gone. So it's going to be a serious conversation. In advertising, top of funnel, bottom funnel. Top of funnel is there's some sort of interest, but they're not at the stage where they're ready to pull the trigger, right? They're just looking, right? Yeah. And as they move closer to the bottom of the funnel, this is where they make their decision. So that lead now is towards bottom of funnel, so it's going to be easier to close unless you just completely fuck it up.
Yeah.
I am a strong advocate of having people go out and speak to the customer and then do things like go in the attic, go on the roof, and you got to do the show to get the dough. Yeah. I think it hits different, right? Building the rapport, having a sense of this person, I can trust this person. I think psychologically it goes a long way.
You got to do things. Successful people do things that people don't want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember I had a long day. I was on my way home, made into my subdivision. A lady called me, said, hey, can you come out and do an inspection? I've seen where she was at. I'm like, damn, that's about 45 minutes away. Mm-hmm. I said, Bumpy, I bust a U-turn. So I would have got home at 4. I ended up getting home around 7:38. Yeah. But I ended up getting a job because I showed up. Mm-hmm. Showed up, got on the roof, did her inspection. She said, look, I'm not even going to look at nobody else. You showed up. The other guy didn't even show up yet, you know. And I could easily just send out quotes to people, but I believe in meeting a person and see what they're doing business with. Yeah.
I mean, you feel more comfortable that way.
That's one of my man Kurt's favorite thing. I want you to see who you're doing business with.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, me personally, if you just email me a quote, like there's no skin in the game for me. You've done nothing to help me feel comfortable in my decision making process.
They're just gonna go with the cheaper quote.
I'm gonna go with the cheaper quote because I don't know any better. And the likelihood that I know enough to even go through both these quotes and discern like where the value is, I mean, it's the closest thing to zero that's not zero as far as my confidence level. So all things being equal, so who's the lower price?
Who's the lower price?
Who's the lower price? And we don't want that. We don't want to race to the bottom.
Can't do that.
Average roof replacement costs $11,500.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see this and I think, that's a lot of money. And there's going to be a lot of fear around a homeowner making a decision of who they're going to trust to do this the right way.
Yeah.
And that we got to make sure that we're doing the best job possible to show them that they can trust us. We know what we're doing. We're fully capable. And what we've done for our past customers, we're going to do for you too.
Yeah. When you come with a quote, 11,000 or 20,000, 30,000, you better know your stuff. Yeah. Because they're going to ask some questions, right? You better be able to answer the questions. What type of felt you putting up there? What type of ice and water shield? What do the drip beds actually do for the house? You got to be able to explain those things to them. What's the difference between the architectural and the 3-tab? You got to be able to explain that to them, right? What's the difference between GAF and Orange Corning and all others? And once you get that homeowner's trust that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, you can start seeing that shield go down and they start listening, and but if you just out there to make that quick buck and you think you're going to rush through somebody who's about to spend 11,000 or 20,000, no.
Is there a point where you give somebody too much information and you start to lose them?
Yeah.
How do you determine what the right amount of information is to make sure that they're educated, but not enough to where they shut? Because I run into this all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to explain to people the nuance of running SEO campaigns and Google ad campaigns. I mean, I can sit in a Zoom meet for 3 hours and give you all sorts of information. And at the end of that call, you're like, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I got to think about it.
Yeah. It's just like when I talk to my tax guy. I'm like, he just blew my mind.
I really hope you know what the fuck you're talking about. I didn't get any of that. So, like, in person with the homeowner, like, how do you decide what things you're going to present to them, how you are going to present the information to where you don't lose them?
Yeah, so you typically got like 3 to 4 different type of customers, right? So when I go in there, I'm reading my environment already. I'm reading the customer. And just by me asking questions, sometimes I don't start off talking too much. I like to listen. And then you can kind of gauge your customer from that point. I had some customers who wanted to get very specific on what type of products we're going to use. They knew the different type of felts, and I really had to be on it. And then I had some customers who just wanted to talk about the price. They didn't care nothing about the product. I don't care what you put up there. How much is it going to be? All right. Well, I might not be the one for you because I might be a little too high. But then you have that sweet person in the middle who they want to make sure you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go too deep into that what's going on, but you got to give them some information knowing what you're doing. Like I tell them, we're going to put ice and water shields in all the valleys, around the pipes, around the chimney flashing to stop any water penetration. We're going to put up drip edge around the rakes and the eaves to stop any, wind-driven rain, or if your gutters fill up, it won't fall back into the... You tell them those little things, tell them that, the architectural shingles hold up to 130 to 145 miles per hour wind gusts between what you have on your roof right now. That's a 3-tab to 65 miles per hour wind gust. They kind of start understanding, okay, this guy know what he's doing. He know what he's talking about. And then I really explain the insurance part to them, because that's what really scares a lot of homeowners, especially the homeowners that I deal with. Insurance scares them. Right. So when you could simplify how the insurance works and that I got your back, Just, and here's the thing, I'm very transparent. I let them know what's going to happen before it happens with the insurance company. Once I find out who they have, so when they talk to their adjuster, they're like, dang, my Otis told me the same thing.
And every time something happens that you told them was going to happen, the confidence in your company continues to skyrocket.
Skyrocket up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You said there's like 4 different types of customers. So at the Atlas Roadshow, Deshaun with Roof Hustlers, he laid out an exercise where he's talking about for your salespeople and your employees, and then for homeowners, there's a few different types of people, and he animalifies essentially the exercise where it's like there's a golden retriever, there's bulldogs, there's owls, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a very fun and interactive way to understand like psychology of employees and prospective customers. And then based on their attributes, like how, like you said, to be situationally aware, figure out what type of person they are. And then based on understanding, like, is this a bulldog? Is this an owl? Is this a retriever? Is this a lab? How you're going to cater your approach based on that. Essentially, everything that you're doing, it was a fun and interactive way to help people understand that. So go check out Deshaun Bryant.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
So when he broke that down, I didn't realize I was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I'm kind of doing it, but I wasn't smart enough to put it in how he got it. I'm like, that's what I'm doing without knowing I'm doing it. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Fucking love it. Yeah. 70% of roofing companies don't trust marketers. 70%. I don't know where you got the number. We're super trustworthy. So first of all, I don't know why y'all don't trust us. I feel like that number's low, though, in my experience. I feel like damn near 100% of people that I talk to, they don't. And for good reason. All jokes aside, you hear it's just like roofers and homeowners. Homeowners don't trust roofers. You hear the horror stories and you understand like what it's going to take to get a new roof on or get a marketing campaign going to get a new website built, and you understand the downside. And all you've heard about is everyone's shitty experience with a marketing agency, with a roofing contractor. So when somebody comes to us, 90+% of the time it's, I was promised this. They told me this. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Yeah. And we have what I feel is a pretty strong brand. We create a lot of helpful content and people like us for the most part. Even so, like there's still that, I always tell them like, look, she broke your heart. I get it. All right. But if you're going to carry that into this relationship, it ain't going to work. I went to therapy and that's what they told me. All right.
Yeah.
We can't bring in the baggage from our old relationships in the new relationship where it's going to be damn from the get go. Yeah. So how do we shake that broken hearted syndrome?
But man, one thing, just like, let's talk like you said, relationship, you can't ignore the red flags. And so if you're looking at a marketing company and you go on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and they're not marketing themselves, that's a red flag. Don't ignore that red flag, right?
No.
So if they want to also put, testimonies out there, reach out to the guy with their testimony, the company. Hey, man, this is Otis. I seen that you were doing something with such and such marketing. How's it been going?
Yeah.
Get feedback. Do your homework.
Yeah, because, if not, at some point we got to look in the mirror, right? It's easy to blame everyone else. I find it's the most effective coping mechanism. Just blame everyone else because then we don't got to take accountability. It ain't my fault. It's their fault.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, what I tell people is, ask most corporate trained salespeople, especially in marketing, they have a very, very curated pitch that works. But a lot of the times, like, we've been doing this for years. We've got hundreds of customers. We got thousands of customers. Well, shit. Shoot me 10 right now.
Yeah.
You got so many of them, it won't be a problem for you to name 10 of them.
Yeah.
And let me talk to somebody who's been with you for less than 3 months, for more than a year, and 3 years plus.
Yeah.
My favorite question, if I'm a contractor and I'm interviewing a marketing agency, my favorite one is all good. Let me talk to somebody that you used to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, it's all too often, breakups aren't cordial. A lot of emotions involved. There's a lot of history there, a lot of memories.
Yeah. And
people get emotional. I want to know how you handle yourself under those circumstances. Right? Because if you can, as a marketing company, if you can point to a relationship that you had, somebody made a decision to leave, and you handled it ethically with integrity, regardless of what the circumstances were around it. You didn't do dumb shit like try to hold their accounts hostage or try to stop the facilitation of them getting away.
Yeah.
if you do those things under the worst of circumstances, that's the type of company I want to work with.
Yeah, that means a lot.
For sure.
Means a lot. Yeah.
So ask the marketing company you're thinking about hiring. Let me talk to somebody that you used to work with and no longer work with.
You have something for them to work with, too. You got to remember that. You got to at least have some reviews, right? You got to at least have a following on social media or something that you could help that roofer with marketing himself.
Yeah.
Like you said, they just can't throw the money to it and say, hey, man, make magic.
One of the worst and consistent problems I see are contractors saying, I want to pay my way out of this problem. You deal with it. I pay you, so you handle it. And it could be marketing. It could be internal employees. It could be an accountant. It could be, you name it.
Yeah.
I pay him to do that. I pay her to do that. That's her job. It's like, well, it's your job to make sure that they have the resources available to do their job and hold people accountable and not in a toxic way.
Yeah. As a leader, if somebody fails up under you, you fail.
It's a reflection of you.
Yeah. You fail as a leader.
I always, I talk about this a lot. It's like accountability versus toxic accountability. So like you can hold people accountable in a lot of different ways, and some of them are going to be productive and some are going to be counterproductive.
Yeah.
Specifically when I brought it up a few months ago, we were talking about clients and like clients who might be a good fit and might not be a good fit. Like, I want people to hold us accountable. I want them to show up to meetings. I want them to ask questions. I want them to bring us information that's going to help us do our job to make their company better. At the same time, I don't want customers who we walk into a meeting and we feel like they got the gun drawn, pointed at us. Like, so what are you doing? So what have you done to change my business in the last 30 days? Like, I don't want that shit. I don't want my team to work under and operate under those conditions. I just don't. Yeah. So it's like, be cognizant of how you're managing people and relationships and things like that. Because I can't imagine that I'm alone and not wanting my team to feel that way. Yeah,
100%, man. Yeah. You got to know how to talk to people. Like, when I played professional ball, I was, I guess, one of the captains, right? Or in the players' eyes, I was one of the leaders. But I knew who I could, chew out, and I knew who I had to pull to the side and talk to them to get what I need to get out of them. I was a player, you could chew me out. You put me to the side, that ain't gonna work. You need to chew me out, almost embarrass me. Then I'm like, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you, bro. But you do that to somebody else, he might put his head down and he in the slump.
Yeah, Deshaun, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you start chewing out a golden retriever, it might be different than chewing out a bulldog.
Yeah. So you gotta know how to interact with folks the right way, man. You gotta read. I think on everything in life, you need to read the room.
Yeah.
You need to read the room.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Mission Control Podcast, baby. Yeah. Let's get it. Let's see here. Green roofs reduce stormwater runoff by up to 65%. I know nothing about this. I'm completely ignorant to this. So I've got no fucking comment.
Yeah. Green roofs reduce stormwater runoff up to, I don't know what a green roof is.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on from that one.
Yeah.
Roofing is forecasted to grow at 6.6% CAGR from 2024 to 2032. Hey, Christian, the fuck is CAGR? See, I've been called a lot of things, but one of them is arrogant. I'm like, I'm not arrogant.
Yeah.
I said the difference between confidence and arrogance is like if you know something and you have a high level of conviction, that's confidence. If you're not afraid to show that. I'm the first motherfucker to tell you. If I don't know something, I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So CAGR, what is it? What does it all mean?
The growth. Capital.
Any luck? Just put
what do CAGR mean?
Yeah.
Without roofing.
What does CAGR?
Because I'm pretty sure that's for everything in business.
Compound annual growth rate.
Okay.
So let's click back over to the stat, Christian. 6.6% from 2024 to 2032. So on an 8-year time horizon, 6.6%. It's going to be more competitors. Yep. But are they competitors? How many of those will be in the top 1% of companies that you want to be like, emulate, or, it's...
Yeah.
I feel like the stats favor that a lot of those would be the trucks.
Yeah, you can't worry about who come into your industry because they can't do what you do. Right? I can't do what certain big companies do. But I know my skill set that I have, that I'm not worried about a guy who's coming in and doing what I could do, right? So my wife sometimes be on me like, why you be helping out people? Because I get a lot of people calling me from Instagram that lives in California or Milwaukee, wherever. And she like, why you help? I said, why not? I said, I can tell them they not going to do it the way I do it. But at least I told them, right? So now the world sees that I told them, and good things going to come back to me because I'm not holding in information to help feed his family.
Right.
It all depends what he does with it, right? To compound it, but I don't believe in holding back to help somebody feed their family.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And to your point of you can give them all the information, what are they going to do with it? I mean, the reality is, if I go talk to 100 people on a stage, and they could leave that meeting like, holy shit, like this is really good information.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to do it. It's like the personal trainer and gym attendee thing, right? It's like you get a gym membership. All right, let's get it. January 1st, we're about to hit it. After 2 weeks, you go back to the gym and, there's half the amount of people there, right? Because for whatever reason, they give up. That's fine. And that's fine. And that's why a lot of people hire a personal trainer, because a personal trainer, they need that external accountability because they know, it ain't a shortage of information. You go on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You could find every fucking workout that you want.
Yeah.
Every diet you want. It's all there, free, readily available. Yeah. But some people just need a little something extra to help them get there and get motivated, right?
Yeah, man.
So give them the information.
I one buddy who got a roofing company, he became a real cool friend of mine. I laid the blueprint. I said, look, this is how I get them overturned. I told him everything. 2 weeks later, hey, man, just come do it. I told you how to do it. Yeah. He just said, man, I said, 10%. Yeah. Whatever this roof is, I want my 10%. He said, man, I'd rather just give you the 10%, brother.
That works.
I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
And people make decisions based on what they want. Like some people want convenience. They want less friction. That's why people will pay $60 for a $25 bowl from Chipotle. To have that bitch delivered at their doorstep through Uber Eats. Yeah. And, some people are like, that's fucking ludicrous. Yeah. And some people are like, let's run it. I'm hungry and I don't want to leave the house. Yeah. And we make a decision based on what suits our wants, needs, interests. And my man wanted to pay the 10%. And I'm sure you're more than obliged to go ahead and get chopped out.
I do it.
Let's get it.
10 minutes of work. That's
Love it. 1% for every minute I invest. 75% of North American homes have asphalt shingle roofs. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You think it's more?
I don't. I'm just. Yeah, I'm curious as to how that's ascertained. How do we get to that number? And then the other 25% is metal tile. Is that
metal
slate?
Tile,
tiny
wood.
Amount of slate.
Yeah,
wood shake.
Modified bed. Some of the houses.
I wish there was more context around these stats. Yeah. 75% of residential homes in North America.
Yeah. But you remember the mid-century homes has the flat roofs, right? Right. So you got to put the modified beds on top of those. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and then also, even if it was parsed out residential, commercial, some people to commercial, it's TPO, EPDM, mod bid, built up. Mm-hmm. And then some people, they're going to include apartments, right? Multifamily. Yeah. And I guess I don't know what the technical definition of that is, but even in talking to roofers, people are like, I'm like, do you do commercial? They're like, yeah, we do, these apartment buildings. And other people are like, well, that's not commercial, that's residential. It's multifamily. I'm like, I don't know. Just tell me what you do. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
Slate tile. Yeah.
How much difference is there from manufacturer to manufacturer and shingles? I feel as if, most of them they're going to last around 20 years, barring any crazy storms. Yeah. There's going to be larger strike zones for the people that are installing it. There's going to be some that are heavier, some that are lighter, some that have different colors, some with different but what does it all mean? Is there really a substantial difference between an asphalt shingle?
I think no. Until you get into the designer shingle, then it's probably different because it's a lot thicker, it's heavier, but really a Owens Corning, a GF, whatever, across the board, after 15, 20 years, man, it's going to wear and tear where you need to replace it, right? So, especially with all the storms we get.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
The
sense.
summer's getting hotter, the winters are getting colder, and everything between is getting worse. So these shingles is, and then you know how I know. Nothing is built the way it was in the 80s or the 70s. It was built to last.
My first car was a 1984 Cadillac Seville.
Yeah.
A little slapback joint.
Yeah.
It was like a couple colors because, there were some spots and I just spray painted it.
Yeah.
Didn't look great. But I'll tell you what, that thing was a fucking tank. When you say they ain't built like that, I mean, heavy steel,
Yeah, they ain't built like
Now your cars that you get, they're like, whatever they're made of. It ain't steel.
Yeah. They're not built to last. All the shingles are getting lighter.
Yeah.
Right? So it's getting lighter. I mean, they're taking something out.
Mm.
They saying it's more efficient, but it's getting lighter.
Interesting. What else do we got here as far as stats?
Cool. So.
Work-related fatalities. Roofers die at the 5th highest rate in work-related construction accidents at 29.9 deaths per 1,000 full-time equivalent workers. Roofers die at almost twice the average rate for all construction workers. Source for that is Electronic Library of Construction, Occupational Safety and Health. I mean, that's fucking terrible.
That is, yeah.
Every time I see something in the news, I'm in the industry, and it's like this guy falls off a roof, and it's because I have other conversations, with roofers, and like we try, compliance is our number one concern. Like we make sure guys are roped off, and we do our best, but sometimes these guys don't listen, and it's like there's a project manager there, but there's a lot going on, and I mean, how do you convince a crew to always keep safety and best practice in mind to protect themselves? Like, not even thinking about like, okay, OSHA fines and shit like that is why we should do it. Like, your fucking life is on the line.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, and it's hard to answer because you could tell them, every job, hey, look, guys, keep your harness on. Hey, yeah, it was funny because I was not funny, but we was actually putting up a roof in the neighborhood. And I was maybe a block over doing an inspection with an adjuster. I'm on top of the roof, and I see my guys. I'm like, man, I got no harness. I ain't got his rope. I call the phone. Hey, put your rope on. He turned around, look at me. Put your rope on, man. You on a 2-story, 812. Anything can happen. Even though it's an 812 to them, that's they feel they could just walk on it. Yeah, but still, one slip. Right.
Man.
Then he look at me, see me slap the rope on the gauge, whatever. But you could tell them, I really don't have the answer for that, right? I guess you could start finding them. I think everybody listen when you take the money from them. But do they pick up the phone when you call?
Yeah, I'd be interested to know in some states like what the laws are around fining an employee, like the stick versus the carrot.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like in some places you might have to use the carrot to motivate them because they might not allow you to say there's a financial penalty if you don't do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know who I should ask? James O'Connor, the employment attorney that was talking about 1099 versus W-2.
Yeah.
We're going to, Christian, remind me, put that on the content schedule. We're going to get James back in here. We're going to talk about how that works. Like, what does that look like? Can you do that? Because I think that I've had this conversation with people. It's like, if you can use the stick and be like, hey, when you guys don't do this, you get paid X percentage less. And, because that shit's real.
It is real.
And, everybody, especially like the younger guys, everyone feels invincible. We've all felt invincible before. Yeah. And every day that I get older, I feel less and less invincible. And I get reminded, you're not. Not even close to it. I get out of bed. I'm like, God damn, my back. But these guys are in their early 20s, mid 20s. Nothing could ever. I'll never slip. Like, I've been running up and down 812s. It ain't nothing. And then, one thing happens.
Yeah.
The odds of you surviving if you tumble off a 20, 30-foot roof, I mean,
it's not good.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah. Whatever.
That's not something I want to bet on.
Yeah, it's not good. Like you said, they're young and they feel invisible. When I first started as an adjuster, I used to, if it was a 712 and under, I wear gym shoes. Like, I ain't putting on no cougar paws. Now I'm close to 50. Brother, I'm on a 412 pitch with my cougar paws on. In a pitch hopper if it's a 7.
I'm
not playing no more.
So first things first, I'm not a roofer and I don't love heights. So there's a video floating around the internet where I went on. I mean, it couldn't have been more than a 412.
Yeah.
And it's a 1-story ranch.
Yeah.
And I'm crab walking down that bitch.
Yeah.
And somebody's videoing it, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna absolutely come for me when they see this video." But whatever.
Yeah.
But we all, I stay in my lane. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
I was helping shoot some content for one of my guys, and that's I'm not comfortable on the
Trust me. I didn't crab walk down some guys laughed at me. Like, look, bro, we don't got to play who got the biggest chest on the roof.
Yeah.
I'm getting off this thing. The way I get off of it. You can walk down it. Yeah. Like my head crew chief, my man Gustavo, I said, look, man, go buy some cougar paws.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend, they're going to laugh at me. I said, I don't care. I need you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to climb everything with your gym shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go get the cougar paws. So now he got the cougar paws. He loves them now, right? Yeah. Like, get the cougar paws, brother.
What are some of the challenges outside of like installers and crews? What are some of the challenges with bringing on employees that you've run into?
Man, just if they're gonna, one, you want somebody to come in who's not gonna mess up what you built, right? As far as dealing with the customers, because when they, when the big hailstorm hit last year in Atlanta, East Point College Park. I brought on a couple new guys, and I kept getting phone calls from customers from one individual. Like, hey, he said he's going to be at this time. He didn't show. Hey, he said he's going to call me. He didn't call. I had to have a conversation with him. Like, look, you're making me look bad. What's going on? And then I just made the call. Look, I just got to let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No hard feelings. I've been knowing him for like 16, 17 years. Hey, bro. I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you out of whatever jobs you got on the books, but you don't even have to even be there to manage them.
Yeah.
I
need you gone.
Yeah. I need you gone. To take care of you, no hard feelings. We still talk to this day.
Yeah.
But no, man, you my customers calling and you making me look bad, bro. And you should know better because you used to have a roofing company, right? So
yeah.
But those are the biggest things I think when you bring on new people is them believing in the brand that you built and holding it as it is like it's theirs, right? Like we're a team, and some guys just want to be individuals, so you got to X those individuals out. And it's funny that me and my man Kirk, we quick to X them out quick. Like, hey, look, bro, it's not gonna work. Kirk be like, give me my shirt back at the hat. He want the folder. I'm like, I don't care. Keep that. Just don't come back around me, man. It just is not going to work. Yeah. Kirk like, nah, get the hat back. Get the shirt back. Get that shirt back.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can. I would agree with that though. Like people that buy in to what you guys are doing, how you've got there, and how important it is to continue to do things that way. I think we have that in common with my business because, and one of the things I struggled with, especially early on, was always thinking I'm not going to find that person. There's no one that's going to care nearly as much as me. No one's going to be better at me at doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I was wrong. I don't love being wrong, but I was wrong. Yeah. I'm willing to admit it, and I'm happy that I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I found different team members that can do different things. They do them way better than I can do them, and it allows me to do other things for the company to improve everything within the organization. Right?
Yeah.
Culture, the customer experience, the things that we're doing for the customers as far as fulfillment, shooting content and doing things as far as brand awareness and building brand equity. All these things that I can do that I wouldn't be able to do in place of not having found those people.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Sometimes you're going to flip over 1,000 fucking rocks, to find something, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you find that person on the first interview.
Yeah.
But I think that what I found is important is not waiting until you're well overdue as far as needing that person to start looking for them.
Yeah.
Hiring in advance of the need will put you in a much better situation than waiting until, the need is it's imminent.
Yeah.
And we've got
the fire.
Because now you're in a position of weakness, right? Like you need them more than they need you.
And you can't properly train them the way you need to be trained because you're in the fire.
So you're setting yourself up for failure. So, and that kind of comes back to as a leader, having your finger on the pulse of what's going on, right? Like if I know that we're at 80% of capacity as far as content is related, and I look back at our last 12 to 24 months of sales, it's like, okay, well, in the next 90 days, we need to have somebody trained up because at the rate that we're bringing people on, we're going to have to add somebody else, right? So it's my responsibility to have an understanding of what's going on in the business and to be able to manage the team and make decisions like that. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things you're doing when you're running a business.
Yeah.
And you get distracted and there's a million things going on, but
you gotta delegate.
You gotta delegate and you also have to pay attention to your numbers and what's going on within the business so that you can make sure that your team and the people that will be on your team in the future are best positioned for success. And I'm Christian. He'll testify here. I'm the furthest thing from perfect when it comes to this.
Yeah.
But you got to do your best. And you got to tell yourself sometimes, be better, Mike.
Be better.
Be better.
Yeah.
Be better. I tell everybody, be better.
Yeah.
Somebody tells me, our second core value, solutions, not excuses. Again, I don't care why this happened. Like, fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again. And I try to hold that energy, take that very seriously. And it's like, sometimes you fall short. Sometimes you overachieve. How can we be better tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you manage day to day? Sometimes we show up and we crush. Sometimes we show up and we get crushed.
Yeah.
How do you kind of balance between demanding more out of yourself to be better for yourself, for your family, for your company, and then, not beating the shit out of yourself to where it's like, you're being fair to yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough act to balance.
It is a tough act. But I just believe, just my background, how I grew up, I grew up with my mom and dad in the same household. My father was man, he was a work mule, right? Mom, she showed us a love and compassion. Father was the work mule. My father, there was no kiss on the forehead. It was a handshake. But he taught me the value of hard work.
Yeah.
He taught me the value of also not bringing the work home. I never heard what went on at the job site. If he had a bad day or a good day, right? Mm-hmm. It was just when he here with the family, he is with the family. But just those core values, man, is I expect so much out of me and my team. But when it comes to a point where, when things is not going right, it's not the time to start jumping down on folks. That's when I sit back and I figure out, okay, how can I fix this? Yeah. So, tell the story when I first started Paramount, we started off rolling and we was putting up, at that time, maybe 4 to 5 roofs a month, or maybe something like that. And I remember the month of February hit, we didn't put up not one roof. And I could see the morale of my guys going down. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to fix this? Because I can't go another month without us putting up a roof.
Sure.
That's when I started looking into the marketing, the digital marketing. And I said, all right, so I'm going to have to spend some money to get these phones ringing. Because I had a second phone that never rang. I don't even know why I had the phone. I used to leave it at the house. Like, dang, I left my work phone at the house. Well, when the work job is over, I go back home. No calls. But just as the leader, man, you got to figure out ways to motivate your guys. Even when things is not going right, you got to look ahead as knowing when things not going right, we're going to pivot this way.
Yeah.
All right. If when things are going good, that's the time you need to be looking at when things are going to go bad, right? But at the end of the day, I don't take my highs too high. I don't take my lows too low, bro. Mm. That's it.
That's smart. Yeah. I think when you have high, like big peaks and large valleys, it's tough for people around you to feel, I guess, safe, right, and comfortable in their position. Right.
Yeah. Because as an owner, man, you take on a lot when people walked away from what they was doing to come up under your umbrella.
A lot of people depend on you.
Yeah, they depend on you. So you can't sit there and mope. You gotta make it happen, bro.
Yeah, listen, and for that reason, I love that I wake up 6 times a night looking at my email and shit. Yeah. It's like a perpetual state of anxiety. But I'll tell you what, it fuels me.
It does. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then after about 3 or 4 years, man, you start feeling the reward. You're not gonna feel it off top.
Right.
I didn't spend a dime on my roofing money for 2 years.
Smart.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that go get that boat, that big truck, right off rip.
2 years, I did not touch none of that money because I was still doing adjusting on the side.
Yeah.
I had the roofing on the side. So all my roofing money I put up, I didn't touch that money for 2 years, bro. And I didn't buy nothing for 3 where I bought my truck. That my F-250, I bought that last year. What, year 4? So I tell guys, man, look, when you high, don't think it's time to go buy. Because the lows don't come, baby.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for it. But, yeah, man, don't take the highs too high. Don't take the lows too low.
Yeah, that's a really good mantra to follow, I think. And, you know, it's fitting this time of year, especially during, like, the election season. We had a lot of people. I've got some clients in particular, love them to death, but every year coming into winter, they start freaking out. And I'm like, bro, we've been here 8 years straight. Like, you know what to expect. You know what time it happens. You know what's going to happen. You know how long it's going to last. Just act like we've been there before. It's all good. Like, things are going to get better. This is a slow time of year. Yeah. Leads will come down. Conversion rates from, like, appointment to sale will go down. And that's okay. Let's work on things that we can do to cushion the blow. Yeah. And let's make sure that we're consistently set up for success every day that we're walking into, right?
Yeah.
So not overreacting, especially when there's some predictability around it. Election years are weird when it comes to, like, marketing leads, things like that, because usually, like, a month or two before, people start getting real fucking nervous about spending money. I don't know if you felt this in your market, but I've seen it a lot across the states where it's like things have slowed down.
Things slow down a little bit. Georgia's a little bit different, right? You could roof year round.
Yeah.
That helps. Yeah. The roof. I can understand up north when, I guess what? It's too cold right now to roof, right?
Depends on who you ask, but there's definitely probably going to be 3 months out of every year. There's snow everywhere, and there's 0% likelihood of you ripping a roof off.
Well, and sometimes I kind of feel like, man, I wish I could get that restart sometime. 2-3 months off.
Yeah.
So now you could really go into hiring a new person and really train the way you want to be trained, or fix all the kinks.
Yeah.
When you roof year round, you fixing the kinks while you still moving.
On the fly.
Yeah, on the fly. You fix it. Yeah. Because some people still want their roof to go up in December, November. You know, hey, can you put my roof up right after Christmas? They want their roof put up. If it's not snowing, if it's 45 degrees or hotter, yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
let's get it. Yeah, I love that. This was fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this.
Gotta do it again.
We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah.
You set up a studio in Atlanta, I'll come out there.
Let's do it.
Roofs by Down, we can go out to shoot a collab.
Yeah, that's
Roofs by Down, where you at, bro?
That's my boy right
there. That's my boy.
He said I can use the studio anytime I need it.
Perfect. We'll take him up on that offer when I come to the ATL.
Okay.
Thank you again to all you tuning in. Hopefully it's helpful. Make sure you drop your comments. Share it with somebody who will help. Thank you to the team at Roofer for standing by us on this journey and helping bring this content to you guys. And overall, thanks for Otis coming in and sharing his insights as well.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. And customers, you've been denied or you think about filing a claim, call Paramount Roofing.
There you go. And we gone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.